Yeah, Pete. Yeah, I know the motherfucker that got our shit. Yeah, he's on YouTube in Atlanta, Georgia. And I think I seen him at the Krispy Kreme. Yeah, I think I know. Yeah, we're gonna be able to find him. We know what he looked like. It's just a matter of time. Alright. Yeah. Get what? What your mama doing? Yo, man, don't worry about that. We got business in here. Storage auctions, the other side, usually filled with grief and misery and despondency. What really happens to these people can be quite tragic. Hey, this is Glendon with Making Money with Storage Unit Auctions. The title of this video, Storage Auctions, the Other Side. This weekend there was a comment that came up, and this is something that's not really talked about, but it's really a very important part of what happens if you're in the storage auction business. You know, aside from the really great finds and the remarkable items and the wow factor, there's something that's usually present in every storage unit that goes up to auction, and that's the remains of someone's life. I am a desensitized SOB. It takes a lot to get to me, but those first 2 years in the business, whoo, it was hard. My weakness was, baby pictures, christening gowns. I was just like, who loses this stuff? And you get anywhere from just 1 or 2 items of someone's past life to literally their whole life in a storage unit. And it could be very tragic or it could be high comedy. There's a lot of stuff I don't talk about, and there's some units I'll never talk about because it's just too depressing, and I had the whole story. When I have enough information to make a video, and when I say enough information, they lost their unit to dumb stuff or continually criminal behavior, I'll put that stuff up here. There's some units where folks just got sick, lost their job, and you could just see that before this climatic event in their life, they were pretty good people. Then there was some career criminals, career shitbirds. It just was. And am I judgmental? Of course I am. Because if I wasn't judgmental, I couldn't do this. I'm not one of those people. So there it is. But there's one comment came up from Casey talking about she bought the unit of her crack hoe. And this kind of goes back to the argument of where do you get a good unit? This is my definition of a good unit. Any unit that you can buy, then flip the contents for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever, more than you pay for it, that's a good unit. For many people, a good unit is they could get for $100 and make $10,000. If it doesn't fit those very narrow parameters, it's not a good unit. I mean, man, I spent $500 and I made $2,000. Man, come on, man. I gotta make more money. I gotta get me some winners. That was a loser unit. I remember people speaking like that, seriously. And I'm just like, okay. But back to the core issue of this video. The remains of other people's lives. If you've been with me since 2009, right here on the video channel or the blog, I've had a rule that I've never broken, and I'm not going to break. I don't mention names. I don't name names. There are many people I can mention. I bought their unit, and you go, oh shit. I'm serious. If someone else finds out and wants to put that out there, or so that's all well and good. But as far as I'm going to go is outline the unit, talk about what's in there, up to a point, because there's some stuff if I talked about, it was. So I can't even do that. But for me, and it's not like it's, a snitch thing or not a snitch thing. I just think it's just best to do it that way. Because, one, I don't name names. I don't have to worry about any retribution. None. I mean, someone can be like, that kind of, but they're not sure. They're not sure. But if I was like, well, I got the name of Joseph K. Oh, shit, that's the motherfucker that got my shit. That's the oh, okay, okay. Yeah, Pete. Yeah, I know the motherfucker that got our shit. Yeah. He's on YouTube in Atlanta, Georgia. And I think I seen him at the Krispy Kreme. Yeah, I think I know what. Yeah, we're gonna be able to find him. We know what he looked like. It's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. All right. Yeah. Get. What? What your mama doing? Yo, man, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. We got business to handle. We got business to handle. Therefore, I'm not gonna do that to myself. And it's just good policy. It's just good policy. But if you're buying stuff, and I know it's a pain, it's a big pain, because a lot of times people do not leave what you would consider the personal stuff, the pictures, the social security cards. There's some folks, all of that stuff is in 4 or 5 boxes. Bam, take it back to the storage facility. Other people, it's generally sprinkled throughout the whole unit, and you could spend 4 or 5 non-productive hours accumulating that stuff. Here's a tip. Especially if you're buying multiple units. This is something I used to do. Load up a truck. I always had a bunch of moving blankets on the truck, always. So I would load up one unit, take the blankets, put it over that stuff, then write unit so and so on some paper, tape it to the blankets. Then do that throughout the units. That way, when it was being unloaded, because we unloaded in process, because it really depended upon what was going on, but there was always either a mini sort or the major sort, just to one, pull out the big stuff, the small stuff. But by doing that, as you're offloading your truck, and you can just put stuff to the side. I'm not saying stop and break away from what you're doing to take it back, but a lot of times I didn't take the stuff back to the next month when I went up there, because some of those places were far away. But I would load them in the car, and before I'll go early, and I just take to the office, and have the unit number on there and the name, and oh, this is their personal stuff, and they're like, thanks. And that worked for me, because some people sort at the door. I did that briefly, but it just worked better having my own facility. If you sort at the door, then if you're going to take that time, it'll be easier. Put it in some boxes, and that's why I always say have trash bags. You will have units where the boxes are crap. You pick up a box, everything falls down on your feet, and you get that look on your face like, I don't believe this. I really don't believe this. But do the best you can to get these folks back their stuff, because regardless of the fact if the delinquent tenant comes back to the facility to pick it up, at least you put forth the effort for your own sanity. Because I took tons of stuff back, and I would go back to auctions 3-4 months later, and I say a little box still in the corner because they didn't come back yet. But I'm like, oh well, I did my part. And I'm going to put one of the saddest units, I'm going to put the post below. I think that's going to be Sarah. That was just a trip. And there's more like that. And there's more. And the thing is, there are some of you out there who think you're really hard. And you're going to buy a unit that's going to break you down, because you get the medical devices, the prescriptions, the appliances they use. You could see from the unit how this person was going down. There's certain things, like when you see 4 or 5 things, you almost know what kind of disease they had. That's how bad it is. I'm like, whoa. And oh yeah, for all you folks, no, other than you're not going to get a disease from a storage unit. So calm down. Even if you're dealing with a twerk or something, that's why I say wear gloves when you go through this stuff and be careful. But that's the type of devastation you can find in a storage unit. And, you don't really hear about that on the shows, or even though, there's a few blogs I've seen some stories, but you really don't get down to the nitty gritty that, let's say for the, real shortly, very briefly, the case of Jerome. That's not his real name. Guy was born with some birth defects, was completely unfortunate looking. Was completely unfortunate looking. Had some physical ailments, apparently from verb, subject, agreement, and some letters about. We were not the sharpest knife in the drawer. So here was somebody that was essentially screwed from birth. And then they lost their unit, and I saw all of this sordid stuff. All of this stuff from the notes and the insurance payments because he had a therapist. Can you imagine growing up from day one being that odd and different? And I got this guy's unit. It's a $25 unit. I just bought it because a pair of shoes were in there. Didn't know one heel was higher than the other. Completely killed that. And I mean, essentially, I ended up giving most of the unit back. I called him up. I was like, I can't do nothing with this. I mean, he was so just out of it in terms of life that there's nothing I could do. It was like, hey, he could have it back. You can call them up. And they called him up, and I took, like I said, it was a little unit. It's just a 5x5. And I had stored everything, put it back in trash bags, and I just took that stuff back to the place. And they said he came and got it, and he was happy. But, man, whenever I want to think that my life is bad, all I have to do is remember about 10 people's units I bought. Woo! And I'm like, I don't have nothing to worry about. Life is lovely. Life is great. But that is the dark side. That is the very dark side. And if you're like, and I even put this out to early video, if you're a very sentimental person, this ain't the business for you. It's not, because every day you're going to get jacked up and you're going to make some decisions based on emotion that are really going to negatively impact your business in a major, major way. Just thought I'd put that out there. All right, this is Glendon. We're making money with storage unit auctions.